So today we have a familiar brand on the channel. This is Vaer. This is their solar powered dive watch that is currently on pre-order on their website for a very good price. We'll get into the price obviously later on in the video, but I'm going to get right into the packaging. And then I'm going to do a little bit of a comparison between this watch, the D4, with the D5, which I actually have on my wrist, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So the packaging is exactly the same as the D5. That's the automatic version of this watch. The automatic version is powered by the Miyota 9000 series. Then there's the D7. That's their Swiss series. So that is actually a completely different watch as well. But I believe they all come in the same packaging. It's just a cardboard box, long cardboard box. Inside that cardboard box, you're getting, if you are getting the bracelet, which I highly recommend, you get the bracelet, and then of course you get the watch. Now, the bracelet on these are actually very inexpensive. I think it's only like a $50 upcharge. So if you are getting this watch, it's definitely worth it to get the bracelet. Inside the box with the watch in it, you just get warranty information and information on your watch. Warranty on this watch is 2 years, which is pretty good compared to most micro brands. And then under here, you're just getting information on, and I'll just pull this little tab so you can see, you're just getting information on how to actually change the strap. So it gives you a little information on that. It's a picture of the D5 right there, so you can see the automatic Miyota movement. Then this is really cool. This is a certificate of assembly. Signature of the American Assembly Technician. So the person who actually assembled your watch signs a certificate, and it's included in the box of the watch that you've just bought. Really a nice touch. I do like that a lot. Obviously, I am an American reviewer, so I do like that, but pretty cool. Anyway, so here is the watch. And as I said, there are differences between this watch and the D5. This is the D4. It is solar powered, obviously, so it is a quartz watch. You could see the second hand there ticking along. You're getting an Epson VS22 inside, 6 months of power reserve, which is excellent. There are differences though. So you're getting a sapphire crystal. That's not different. What is different is you're getting an aluminum bezel rather than a ceramic bezel. There are some case finish differences. Actually, there is polishing on this watch where there is not much polishing on the D5. So this is a little bit more, I don't know, flashy. I wouldn't call it flashy, but it has a little polishing on it. There's a polished edge. And in fact, let me show you the watch that I have on right now. Obviously, it is the D5. This is the one with the vintage sort of patinaed lume. Really an awesome watch. You get that ceramic bezel. You can see it's very glossy, so you're not getting that glossy look on here, but they have polished the case, so gives it a little bit of bling on it, a little bit. And this is basically the exact same bracelet that you would get on this watch. So for $50 upgrade, you're getting a really nice bracelet. So you can see there are a few other differences. Vaer right there, it's a little bit smaller on this watch. That's because the case is actually smaller. So the case on this watch, I believe, is 38 millimeters at the case itself. If you measure at the case itself, it's about 38 millimeters, but if you measure at the bezel, depending on where you measure it, if you're measuring within those little notches, it's a little bit smaller, but it's about 39 millimeters. I measured like 38.9 millimeters and then about 37.9 millimeters at the case. So that's what it is. And then they have the same lug width, so you could actually swap out bracelets. They both have a 20 millimeter lug width. This is, I believe, around 12.5 millimeters thick. That's with the sapphire crystal. It's a double domed sapphire crystal with AR coating. However, it's a little bit thinner than that. Yeah, 12.5 is what I measured. It's a little bit thinner than that. It's almost like 10 millimeters or just over 10 millimeters if you don't include that sapphire crystal. So it is actually thinner than the D5, of course, because the D5 is an automatic movement. That kind of makes sense. One thing that's similar is the crown. You get the exact same crown, which is awesome because the watch is a little bit smaller, so it's actually a bigger aesthetic on that crown. I always like a big crown because it's nice. It's just nicer to use, in my opinion. Dials, obviously, a little bit different. You're getting applied indices on the solar watch as well as the D5. However, the lume is different colors. You're getting the exact same hands, basically, with different color lume. This one says American Assembly on it. This one does not, even though they are both assembled and tested in the United States. But those are really the main differences. You're also getting that polished edge on the Solar watch, where you are not getting that on the D5. I guess there's reasons for that. Kind of makes sense. Oh, and you get a pip on the D5 on the bezel, where you do not get it on this watch. I don't believe the bezel is actually fully loomed. However, you do get 15 layers of lume on the dial and hands, just like you do on the D5. So it's 15 layers of X1, C1. So a lot of similarities. The case back on here is really nicely engraved with that Vaer logo, and it just has a wave pattern. Beautiful case back on here. I don't know if it's stamped. It looks like it might be stamped. It feels perfect, and it looks beautiful. Very, very nice. And as I mentioned, the lug width obviously will be different from that D5 as well, because it is a smaller watch. You're getting a 45 millimeter spot on. With the bracelet, it'll be a little bit bigger than that, because you do get male and links on the bracelet, but 45 millimeters, 38 millimeter watch, 39 millimeter watch. This is going to wear really nicely, and you're getting that big crown, which is really nice, especially considering 6.9 millimeters, almost a 7 millimeter crown on a pretty nicely sized watch. I don't want to use the word small, but it is a very nicely sized watch. The bezel action is excellent on this watch. Let's listen to that. Really good bezel action. Clicks are very solid, sounds excellent, and everything lines up. So very, very good here. And then, of course, this is the Tropic rubber strap. You're getting a Vaer signed buckle, and that's the same exact strap, again, that comes on the other watch as well. On basically all of their watches, the straps are pretty much interchangeable, I believe, except if you're getting the smaller watches, the Dirty Dozen watches. Those are smaller, so they don't have a 20 millimeter lug width. I think they have like an 18 millimeter lug width or something like that. Kind of makes a little bit more sense, because that's a 36 or 38 millimeter watch. This is a 39 millimeter watch, so would not look right. But really nice case, really nicely finished, all stainless steel, of course. Bezel is aluminum, as I mentioned, so it will patina over time. It will get scratches. So if you like that sort of thing, which I do, I think you would like this. It's going to age with you as you get older, whereas something that's made out of ceramic will not, and it can crack. So there are advantages to aluminum for actual purposes of diving and using them in the actual field. Aluminum is actually better. So very quickly, I'm going to throw this on my wrist. I've already shown you what I had on my wrist, but throwing this on my 7.5 inch wrist, it really does fit nicely. It's just a nice little watch. I really do like it. And for the price on this strap, they are charging $299 on the pre-order. I don't think that price goes up. I think that's the price. When they have them in stock, they'll be $299. If you want the bracelet, like I said, it's $50 more. So the bracelet, on the bracelet, this is $349. Really nice for a watch that is actually assembled in the United States with an Epson VS22, which is a really great movement, and it gets 6 months of power reserve on that solar movement. You could see the AR coating. They put a lot of AR coating on that double dome sapphire crystal. Usually you can see a lot of what's going on in my studio. I think this is actually holding up really well against the lighting in my studio. And of course, it does have 15 layers of lume, so we're going to do a lume shot at the end. Really good price. I really like the American assembly. It's just an all-around good-looking watch, and obviously a very durable watch. And I made a video a little while ago about watches for the Armageddon, and in that video, I mentioned solar-powered watches. Solar-powered watches definitely make a lot of sense, because usually watches that have solar-powered movements last way longer than they say they actually will last. Usually they last, they give a guarantee of about 10 years. Usually you don't need to service the watch at all for all 10 years. And then they usually keep on going. So sometimes you might change the capacitor. They'll last forever. Really a very good Armageddon watch. I use the word Armageddon a lot in that video, but it really is. If anything ever went wrong with something like an automatic watch, you're going to have very accurate time from a solar watch because it is solar powered. It's not going to actually lose power. You're not going to actually lose the time because you haven't worn it for a few days. Just a really great watch. All in all, I really do like it. I like solar powered watches. I think this is pretty cool. So very quickly, let me do a lume shot, then we will wrap up the video. So there you go. I think they do a really good job with lume on this watch. They have liberally applied it to the hands, the indices. You even get lume on the second hand. You can see that there. You get a lume pip, and then you get 4 dots of lume, which I think they do on a lot of their watches. It might be something that is sort of their design DNA. You get a little dot of lume besides the actual indices there at the 2 o'clock, the 4 o'clock, the 8 o'clock, and the 10 o'clock. If you can see what I'm saying. It gives you a little bit more of orientation in the dark. Actually, I have another one of their watches right here, and that is the S5. That's the one with the AmeriQuartz in it. So this is probably the most closest watch that they have to actually American made. So this is American assembled. It has American movement in it. This has the American Horween on it. So it's very close to being American made without being actually American made, but it is very close. Pretty cool. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments below about this watch. Obviously, it's assembled here in the United States. You have an Epson movement of the VS22, 6 months of power reserve, $299 on this strap, $349 for the bracelet, which I think is the way to go. Obviously, I actually really like the bracelet, especially considering that they only charge $50 for it. So that makes a lot of sense to me. A lot of other brands will charge you more than that. I think 50 bucks. The bracelet is really nice for 50 bucks. Excellent choice. Definitely go with it. But tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of solar divers? Just tell me what you think. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel. I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.